Ollie accidentally knocked over his coffee. The burning heat made him scream out loud. He saw the car wobbling toward him again. To dodge the danger, he jumped into the bushes once more. Ollie couldn't figure out why this stuff kept happening. She rushed down in a panic. No matter how Ollie explained it, Fen thought the person was doing it on purpose. Ollie offered him a ride again, but he still said no. When Fen walked home, he saw Joe's food truck parked right outside his door, and Joe immediately came up to say hi. Even though Joe didn't live there, they were kinda like half neighbors. Fen flat out refused Joe's invitation. Fen really enjoyed his alone time. He loved walking along the train tracks with no noisy voices around, just the wind rustling through grass and birds chirping. But at some point, a little girl started following him. She was a bit taller than Fen, with dark skin and a chubby build, and other kids her age often picked on her. In her innocent confusion, she thought Fen was someone her own age. But even though Fen was short, time had already left its mark on his face. So when he turned around, the girl got totally freaked out by his face that didn't match his body, and she immediately ran off. Fen just gave a helpless smile. He'd gotten way too many dirty looks and wasn't gonna get mad at some girl's innocent curiosity. Who would have thought that night someone actually knocked on his door? Fen was super surprised. He couldn't figure out who would come looking for him and thought the constant knocking was just in his head, but the sound kept going. So Fen realized he wasn't imagining things. He went over and opened the door. It was Ollie.
Olivia Harris. Dead.
A funny, self-deprecating joke broke the silence between them. Ollie also brought Fen a gift from Joe, a bottle of red wine. They had a drink, and then a phone started ringing. Ollie thought it was Fen's phone.
My phone's disconnected.
How disappointed does someone have to be with all the world's drama to cut off all contact with the outside world? Ollie picked up the phone and saw it was his ex-husband calling, but he didn't answer. Fen didn't ask about it either. Obviously, he didn't want to chat with anyone, but Ollie kept trying to find things to talk about. He looked around the room and casually opened a drawer. Turns out the drawer was totally falling apart and barely holding together. When Ollie pulled on it, the whole thing crashed to the floor, knocking Ollie down with it. Fen rushed over to help, but with his tiny frame, like an 8 or 9-year-old kid, he couldn't really do much. Ollie awkwardly got up from the floor and sat down on the couch. Then Fen bent down to pick up the scattered books.
Who left you this place? When did he die?
3 weeks ago.
My son Sam died. 2 years ago.
That's when Fen realized everyone has their own misery. His was just too obvious. People could see it right away. But Ollie's pain was buried deep inside, like a thorn that couldn't be pulled out, constantly tormenting him. Fen didn't say anything comforting, because he knew that with this kind of tragedy, words were pretty much useless. Maybe because he'd also lost a close friend, he could really understand how Ollie felt. The room was so quiet, you could hear a pin drop, but this feeling of mutual understanding was flowing between them. Ollie stayed the night at Fen's place. The bare bones room only had one couch, so Fen had to sleep in the bathtub. The next day, when Ollie woke up, he realized he'd actually spent the night at some strange guy's house.